In Glasgow, Scotland, professional chef Michael begins a new day with a woman sharing his bed. However, instead of cuddling her, he asks her to go home because it's impossible for him to sleep with another person in his bed, and besides, he has to go to work soon. Meanwhile, epidemiologist Susan goes for a walk on the beach with her sister Jenny, who is scolding her for smoking again. Susan recently ended a relationship and has been in a bad mood since, so to deal with all her anger she begins throwing rocks at the seagulls. Sometime later, Michael arrives at the restaurant he works at and has a very usual day with lots of clients to please and co-workers teasing him for dumping yet another woman after just one night. Susan, on the other hand, has a very unusual day when she finally goes back to work after having been absent since her breakup. Her boss Stephen stops her when she's on her way to the lab and takes her with him to the hospital, since apparently they're needed there. There's a man with a condition they can't put their fingers on. His wife tells them he suddenly got very depressed and cried a lot, but he quickly got over it, and when he came back to himself, he had lost his sense of smell. Afterward, they interview the patient, who seems to be fine, no other symptoms besides the loss of smell. Susan begins wondering why this is such a weird case that they were called over, and Stephen explains cases like this have been found all over the world. They all appeared in the last 24 hours and had no contact with each other, so nobody has any idea of how it even got started. They reach the conclusion that it isn't a big deal and maybe it will go away, so for now they won't panic. The next day, Susan is having a smoke by the window before going to work and sees Michael come out from the restaurant back door, which is on her street. He sees her as well and asks for a cigarette, which she throws at him while teasing him. Afterward, at the lab, she and her coworker give Stephen the conclusions they've reached so far. Nothing indicates that this is a virus, and it doesn't seem to be contagious, but there's no denying it's spreading. Their options are a new toxin, something environmental, or perhaps terrorism. They're right about one thing though, it's definitely spreading. More and more people around the city stop in the middle of the day to begin crying when they suddenly are hit by profound grief. Once that passes, they lose their sense of smell. Authorities start appearing on the news explaining